We're in an era where most industries are so volatile and people are being downsized or having reduced hours.
All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to be up here less than 5 minutes. It's kind of going to be like the Grammys, you know, with the orchestra pit. If I go over, he's going to play that song again. So I better get rolling here. So today, the tip is it's dealing with communication and DM specifically. And many may not be aware, but you can do this with audio and video. It's pretty cool. So the two requirements are obviously got a LinkedIn account and the mobile app, and then whoever you're communicating to is the first connection. The benefits is that you can do a audio DM. It's a personal touch. It's like talking with someone. It grabs attention. It just shows that you're going out of the way. So let's get right into this. And basically, it's pretty easy. Did you guys DM much? Yeah, either, yeah. So I like to DM right out of my mailbox. You can go to someone's profile, obviously send them a message that way. But this is as if I'm in my mailbox, and all you do is you click this icon here, and then up comes up options, and you put someone's name in here, so we're just gonna use David as an example. And what I like to do here is, so you type in their name, you select them out of your first. What I like to do is I like to introduce two people this way. So, for instance, let's just use Pat Miller. You click on the plus sign, you've got them both in there, and now all you do is you just hold that button down, it's a little microphone, and you say, hey David, you gotta meet this guy, Pat Miller, he's part of the SBOC. Pat, meet David, he's here at Expansive, happy connecting. You let it go. Now you can't listen to it, but if you know you flubbed it up, you can delete it and try it again. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It's like introducing someone at a networking event, So this is what I really like though. We're gonna try something unique here. So the next one is as if I was going to send Sue Gresham a video. So I come in just like I did where I'm getting ready to send a message. Instead of holding this down and recording, now I click the plus sign. And up comes all of these options. You can send a document, other media, GIF. We're gonna use the camera, right? So when you click on the camera, what you're gonna see is, I actually have it here, you can take a picture that's in blue, or you click on this little icon, which is a video camera, and it looks like this. And so now I can take a video, but obviously, like in this case, this is in my office, you have to click this button to reverse the camera to make sure that it's looking at you. So I'll do that right now. So now you can see, so we're gonna try something really cool. Sure. So Wayne Marston, I come to the last event. So on 3, we're gonna say, we miss you, Wayne, okay? So I'm gonna leave a video for him. I'm just gonna say, well, let's just try it. Now, if it doesn't work, I get to do it again. But I have a feeling you guys are gonna do this in one take, so. Hey Wayne, I've got some friends. Just wanna give you a message. Okay.
We miss you, Wayne!
You gotta get back to LinkedIn local, my friend.
Close.
All right, so I got some friends. Just wanna give you a message. You gotta get back to like that. Okay, so now I go next.
One take, Tony.
One take!
Yep.
And then there you go. And so now it's sending it to him. And he'll get that, and then hopefully he'll be here in September now.
You see.
All right, we got the resident expert. Are you ready?
I'm going to add something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tony was 100% right about how awesome this is. However, You don't always have to be connected to that person, because if they have an open profile, like I have, because I have a premium account, you can automatically get into them that way. So this is a great tool as you're looking at someone's profile. You can always try and send them a message. If they've got that open profile, you're in line, you right there. I got an invitation to connect today by someone. First time I ever gotten an invitation like that by someone that wanted to talk with me. Just introduce themselves, and they get past that 200, 300 word limit. So another tip, but add-on.
You're an add-on. See, you catch those things that I don't catch, and that's why it's awesome to have a resident expert with us. All right, so,
Great tip.
well, good, yeah. Thank you. So, now, I think we're good. Thank you. We're going to introduce our speaker, and I had a conversation just yesterday with a friend of mine who attended an event for a company called Trinant it was on Sunday that Sonara, our speaker, spoke at. And you don't know about this, but my friend talked to a lady that worked with Sonara in the corporate world before she came to Trinant. And she basically followed her and said all of these great things about her. And, for that to come full circle back to me, I mean, isn't that the essence of leadership? You got someone that's following you, you got a reputation. And so I'm just grateful, and I'm excited today to have Sonara. So let's bring the insightful, the engaging, the master of success, Sonara Brown.
Wow, I don't know about that.
Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, well, thank you guys for being here. Like you said, my name is Sonara Brown. I live just outside, well, actually here in Tosa, which should be told, I live in Tosa. And like he said, I am with a company called Trinant. I'm one of their top leaders, and I basically manage a sales organization. My background is a little bit unique. I actually was raised in Bogota, Colombia. And if anyone has ever watched Narcos, anyone see that series? Okay. You remember Pablo Escobar and all of the craziness and the bombings? That's how I got to the US. When I was about 15, just shy of 15, my parents sent me to years to the United States to go to boarding school. And did that. Ended up with a scholarship to a very weird naming city named Wauwatosa to go to now very and I said, wow, Wauwatosa, it's free college, I'll go anywhere. So anyway, that's how I ended up here. I actually started my career in occupational therapy, which is obviously in the medical profession. I ended up in my current profession in direct sales because I had 3 kids in 4 years. I was looking for some flexibility, a little bit more time freedom, and 20 years ago, the work from home options didn't exist the way they do today. It was just a different world back then. So somebody said to me, have you ever thought about direct sales? I was like, you mean like Tupperware? They're like, well, there's so many great companies out there. Long story short, we're getting 20 years later. So, the topic is unparalleled success. And I think, okay, am I really qualified to talk about this? But I do feel like my life is exactly where I want it to be. So that is always the first thing that I ask people. I mentor about 5,000 people through my sales organization. And the first thing that I ask them is, hold on a second, I should make sure I don't run over. First of all, do you have the income that you want? Like, are you making the money in your current career that you want to be making? Or do you have to say, money may not? And if the answer is no, I say, okay, there are so many options. Now, every single one of you has a different profession, different skills, different career, whether it be freelancing or whether it be consulting or finding something totally different. But I just think in today's day and age, no one really should be short on funds. Every economist says that you should have multiple streams of income. And I think I read once that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income, which is kind of crazy. So the first thing that I say to people is, okay, if you do not have the money that you want to have to live the life you lead, that's, I think, one of the first things to mitigate, because most of the things that we want to do, whether it be paying down debt or helping our children with school or moving into a neighborhood that we feel better suits us, or all of those things, they typically require money. Okay, so then the next thing that I ask people is, do you feel like you have the time freedom that you want? And time freedom is a big one. Like most people, if you work a 9 to 5, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I think it's a different world. People have a lot more flexibility with their career. But if you don't have the time freedom, that's another reason to think about, okay, should I branch out and maybe add something to my repertoire? And then the biggest thing I ask is, do you have the impact you want? Do you feel like what you're doing is like really making a difference? Like you feel happy that you're impacting people in a positive way? And so I ask the people that I work with, if the answer to all of those things, any or all of those things, is no, it might be time to like say, okay, what can I do that's different, right? And open your mind to an alternative source. Now, I chose network marketing because, if I'm being really honest, I didn't really have a lot of other skill sets, I didn't go to school for business. I don't have any artistic ability. I'm not going to be doing, that was the thing that I thought, okay, what is something that if I wanted to create a secondary or tertiary stream of income, how can I do it? And I decided if I get excited behind a product that I love, I could do it. So you guys all have your own careers, but I'm going to assume that most of you, actually I would love a show of hands. Do any of you guys, do you have direct reports when people work for you or you mentor them? Nobody? Okay, 1, 2, okay, none, wow, okay. So you guys are all the boss of you, but then you don't have to really manage anybody else. Okay, well that's pretty fabulous. So I'm going to give you my top, basically my top 7 tips that I give to the people that I work with to help them create what I would call unparalleled success. The first one for me is mindset. This is the absolute biggest one. I feel like just like kids need a hug every day and they need to be told that they're loved, I feel like our brains and our inner beings need that same thing. And when I ask people that I'm working with, what do you do to work on your mindset? Most of them think I'm crazy. They don't do anything to work on their mindset. And the biggest thing I typically hear is, I don't have time. So I actually looked online, just did a Google search, top 10 podcasts for mindset. And it was The Daily Stoic with Ryan Holiday offers ancient wisdom and inspiration, strength, and guidance. The School of Greatness, how about you, Glenn? Former professional football player Lewis Howes discusses self-development, productivity, and business. Okay, I could go on and on. Top 10% Happier, Rob Dial podcast, the Mindset Mentor podcast. I feel like everybody should be doing something to improve their mindset every day. I actually have a speaker in my shower. That's when I do it. When I take my shower in the morning, I will have a 10-minute podcast going. They can be on their commute to work. It could be while you're making dinner. It could be whatever. But I don't think that anyone's able to actually actualize their potential. I really don't. If they do not have a mindset of success, power, positivity, and at the end of the day, we live in a world that gets us down. I mean, oh my gosh, has anybody watched the news in the last 2 weeks? It's a disaster. It's a train wreck. It's a train wreck. And so I think mindset is the biggest one that I talk to the people I work with. You need to find a little spot in your schedule, and if you don't have the time, you just multitask when you're already driving or folding laundry or taking a shower or whatever you're doing, and find a podcast that you can get excited about that is specific to mindset. Not necessarily a podcast that's a comedy podcast or whatever, but just something specific to mindset. Okay, that's my first tip. My second tip is falling in love with the daily grind. This is the biggest one, the people that I mentor. I spend all day doing things that are not fun or sexy at all to live a life that is fun and sexy. But it is the daily grind of the things that really aren't that fun. Everyone here has a different career. Maybe you're in sales and it's that daily grind of the reach outs. Like these are the 5 people I need to get in touch with. By the way, I love the tip about the audio message. 100% of all of my messages are always audio. I don't text anything. That's at all, ever. Most of mine is done through Facebook Messenger, truth be told. Most of the people that I communicate with in my sales force, I'm communicating with them through Facebook Messenger, but the point is the same. It's an audio message. Because an audio message will convey your enthusiasm and your care, your passion, your concern. Tone is always subjective when it's written. And so it's funny that you would say that, Tony, because I do only audio messages. But anyway, falling in love with the daily grind. I was able to work from 11 different countries over the last 12 months. I have a portable job, I take it everywhere. But guess what? I am on vacation in a random city, and I am going to wake up and I'm going to put that, whether it be 30 minutes or an hour, into whatever it is I need to do. So if you don't have something like this, raise your hand if you're a taskmaster. I'm just curious, like you like to have a list and you like to check things off your list? Okay, I'm a list person myself. So I have this thing, I actually created it for myself. It's even laminated, that's how much of a nerd I am. And this is my DMO, my daily method of operation. And it sits laminated on my desk, and every day, because this is the boring daily grind that I do not want to do. But when it's in front of me, I'm a taskmaster, whether it takes me 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and I know that if I get these things done, my business is going to grow. And so if you do not have a written DMO, I actually think that is really, really important to have a written DMO, and you follow it every single day. Okay, my next tip is to surround yourself with leaders. Okay, I literally cut people off in a New York minute. I am ruthless. If somebody is not, I call them the still people. Still whining, still complaining, still broke, still between jobs, still frustrated. I just don't have time or space in my life for these people. And I remember when I was a little girl, my dad told me, you are going to be the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Period. So you have to choose those people wisely. And I've held that, I have 3 kids of my own. They are 23, 21, and 19. And I say the same thing to them. You're going to be the average of the people you spend the most time with. So now, unfortunately, some of the people that are the ones that we really would like to cut out are family members. Okay. So those are the people that you can't get rid of, clearly, right? But you can definitely limit how much time you spend with them voluntarily. And so that's the next thing to ask yourself is, are the people that I spend the most time with, are these people that are encouraging me, cheering me on, asking me about my goals, motivating me, inspiring me? Do you covet their success? I want to hang out with people that I covet their success because they're doing something right and they're going to rub off on me.
Done.
Most of us, a lot of times, we tend to look for people that on a very subconscious level, we feel better than them. Like we maybe feel like we're the power player, we're the alpha, we're a little bit better than they are. And I would encourage you to really look at the people that are in your inner circle and ask yourself if they are helping you be the best version of yourself. Okay, my next tip is to make a decision and know that the universe will respond. I really, really believe that. So I would love just a quick, let's just kind of take we do it in 20 seconds, I think we can do it. I would love just literally snaking around the room. I would love to know what you guys do for work. So do you mind if I just start in the back corner and just,
graphic design and starting by service.
Graphic design and financial services, okay?
I'm just recently back on Margaret.
Recently back on the market. All right, love
As
it.
of a few days ago.
I love it.
Sales.
Sales, okay?
Marketing.
Marketing.
Photographer.
Photographer, okay? I'm an artsy person, okay?
Personal resilience practitioner and resilience coach.
Wow, personal resilience practitioner, okay?
I'm retired, but I just started a pampered chef business.
And you still tired and started a paper chef business. That's great, okay, great.
LinkedIn consulting.
Big to a consultant.
Social media, specifically LinkedIn company pages.
LinkedIn company pages, okay?
Owner Story First Media with Rabbit, tells stories others.
Oh, love it.
Manufacturers, wrapping, electronics industry.
Manufacturers rep. Okay, do you sell?
Yes, that's all I do.
That's all you do. Okay, love it.
Business strategist, coach, stand-up comedian.
Business strategist, coach, and stand-up comedian. That is quite the resume. I love it.
I'm an agent experience manager, which basically is a concierge for my real estate agents.
Real estate, okay.
Come on outside, I do help people with some big businesses, and I also do now control to transfer wealth and big emotions.
Cool, I like that. So the business consultant.
Yes,
Love it. IT.
breeding active carrot.
Yeah, we scope. We all know it.
Operations.
Operations. And Mr. Glenn.
I'm a football coach, trauma coach, and work in direct sales.
Human sales. Okay. So this is like an interesting hodgepodge of professions, okay? Now, every single one of you, the reason I wanted to ask that is because I was trying to get a gauge for, is your job more to use your personality and ingratiate yourself with people so that you can develop a relationship? And the answer is yes for every single one of you. Your job is to develop relationships with people, ingratiate yourself, make a connection so that that person will want to do business, whether it's I'm wanting to take pictures of my X, Y, or Z, or I'm looking for some business strategy tips, you know. So, okay, having said that, if you are not surrounding yourself with the type of people that are going to keep you in a positive, uplifted mindset all the time, I don't think you have the ability to be the person that you need to be to make those connections. I just don't. We all have that family member, that neighbor, that maybe it's someone that you've been friends with forever. And so when I say I cut people out of my life in a New York minute, I don't mean that I cut them off like I'm never going to talk to them again, but they're just not going to get the bulk of my time. And so that is one of my number one tips is, are you spending time with the right people? Okay, my next tip is, and by the way, these are the tips, I manage a lot of people, like 5,000 of them. So these are the tips that as I'm working with those people, so I think about you as a business coach and a business strategist, you know, people
I'm not so that shit, but. And like,
a lawyer?
it's,
Oh, okay, I did not hear that.
I just do, you know, my specialty is business law.
Business law. Okay, got it. Okay. Okay, my next tip is to celebrate your wins, the big ones and the small ones. I think too often we set these goals like, okay, I'm out to make this many sales, or I'm looking for this many clients, or this is how many people I want to photograph this season. And we set these big lofty goals, and I have learned that the really small wins all add up to big ones. They really, really do. And so setting those small goals, celebrating them, and then when you celebrate them, it affects your mindset, and then you move on to the next big goal. My next tip is to take full responsibility for your success. Full responsibility for your success. I think we live, I saw Simone Biles had an interview, and she said, you know, I'm the greatest gymnast in the world. And when I say that, people say, well, you're cocky. She said, you're not cocky, I won 5 world titles in a row. That's just like fast. I think that just makes me the best gymnast in the world. I have 5 world titles, okay? Where am I going with this? I think that we live in a society where people want to bring each other down, and we have to be proud of ourselves and market ourselves in a way like you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I think it's okay to do that. I tell people I have the fastest growing organization in the entire company. Those are just facts, right? So I think it's important to take responsibility for your success. And I tell the people that I work with, if you want to grow your business, you have to project yourself in a way that makes them want to do business with you. And most people don't say like, hey, I am looking for someone who's just kind of mediocre in what they do. I would love to partner with someone who's kind of okay. They want the best, they want the greatest, they want to know that you're really, really good at what you do. And so projecting yourself in a way that's like, I am really, really good at this. This is my, check out all my vocal reviews. This is my pedigree, or these are all the accolades I've received, or these are all of my really happy clients and customers, and really just market yourself as the best out there. I think people are attracted to the confidence that you have when you say, I'm really darn good at this, and I want you guys, I want your business, or I want you to be a part of it. And last but not least, and this one may not apply to all of you as much, but maybe, and that is helping other people get what they want. I feel like I am the most successful in life and in business when I am helping other people to get what they want. From a business perspective, it looks like me asking every single person I work with, okay, what are your goals? How much money are you trying to make this year? What are you trying to accomplish here? You know, on a more personal level, it's whether it be a philanthropic organization. We partner with an organization called the Med House that helps women that are suffering from addiction, and it's help. You know, I want to ask that organization, what can I do to support you? What can I do to help you guys? What can I do to get your name out there? What can I do to leverage the little bit of exposure that I have to help you guys? And you're going to find that when you're doing that, these people are going to come back to you. They're going to say, Tony, like your name, you're networking, your name's going to come up, and people are going to refer their business to you. So that is really it. That's kind of, go for it.
Yeah, just a question on, I think it was number 4, make a decision.
Yeah, make a decision. Make a decision, and most people that I work with, they really, really struggle. It's almost like they're so afraid of failure that they don't want to put that decision out there, because it's like, well, then what if I don't get it? And what I like to tell people is, I think that the bigger failure is underestimating what you're capable of and shooting so low that you hit that bar to feel good about yourself. But the truth is, you could have accomplished so much more. So making that decision, like whether it be, you know what, by the end of the year, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, even if it feels super lofty, I feel like you will get further ahead by working towards something that's bigger.
What made you transition from being an occupational therapist?
Yep. So, in short, time freedom. Time freedom. I had 3 kids in 4 years. I was working at St. Joe's Hospital on 51st and Chambers. Loved it, but didn't love the life I had created for myself. I was punching in at 7, punching out at 4:30, grabbing kids from daycare, spending like an hour with them before they went to bed. And it was over and over and over and over. So then I said, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to work weekends. I could do 2 12s and basic work part-time in 2 days. And I see like a great idea. This is going to be home with my kids. Well, then I'm going to be home with my husband. Yeah. You know, it was like, I just was like, this is, so what I decided is I'm going to put this career on pause. No one can ever take my education away from me. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to go into direct sales, like Pampered Chef. And I was with a different company. Of course, it ended up taking off. It was meant to be a 4-year plan. The idea being, when the youngest gets to kindergarten and I don't have any daycare expenses, I will go back to my career. But by that time, I had tripled what I was earning in my day job. And then it just grew and grew and grew, and then I got to the top of another company, and I became $1 million earner. I was like, well, I'm definitely not going to wait till I have to move out there real quick. But it really was that first thing that I asked you. Like, I asked myself, is this the life that I wanted? And I remember I got kind of made fun of a little bit. Like, it was like, well, wait, why are you doing that? You went to college. You have a degree. Why are you going to throw all of that away to go into a sales job? But I made a decision. I wasn't going to let anybody get into my head. My decision was made. It was final. I made my decision. And so that's kind of how it started. I looked at my life and I did not, I liked my life personally, my children, my husband, like, well, on the outside, but I did not like the life that I had created for myself. So I decided to reinvent myself, and that's what I did. And too many people aren't willing to do that. They feel like, well, I'm already plus 7 years old at this. Okay, but now you're just gonna throw the towel after man out. So what, you've been at this for 7 years, so now you have to do it for another 24? Does that make any sense? It doesn't. So just making a decision and then knowing that the universe will follow.
Was it tough at first?
It was tough because I was moving into something that was a total different skill set. It's really hard to reinvent yourself, start over when you don't have the skills and you're just trying to figure it out as you know, for sure. But again, I was so convicted in my decision. And I think that's what has to happen. I think you have to get to a point where you've just had it. You've had it, like whether it be financially, the time freedom piece, maybe you have time freedom and you have the income you need, but you're just not happy with the career. I think you have to hit a point where you're just, I have had it. I'm just doing something different. And young gentleman in the back, I don't know why you're, but maybe you had one of those moments like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this, and I'm starting over.
Does anybody have any other questions for Sonari?
Yes.
Hi, thank you for speaking today. I just would really like to reflect on it. Get with your number two, the fall in love, the daily grind.
The daily grind.
I love that, and the idea of that daily method of operations. I don't make many lists, so that's a great idea. And then I wondered if I could share that tip with everyone too for that daily method of operation.
I love it.
Okay, I invite my clients and I do it for myself. You make a to-do list for your daily method of operation and cut that at the top and then put a spot that says to me, because we get to choose how we are in each of those daily running tasks. So maybe if you like the step when we're happy, going in love with it.
I love that. And that goes back to the mindset piece. For sure. But the thing about the daily method for me, I have a list of to-dos and I have a daily method of operation. They're not the same. Because the daily method of operation are the things that I want to do every single day that never change. That would be like the equivalent of I wake up, I brush my teeth, I get dressed, I take a shower. Those things are the same every single day. Your business probably has some things that you need to do every single day to push it forward. And usually they're not fun tasks at all. So that is what my daily method of operation is. And like I said, this lives on my clipboard on my desk. So I would definitely encourage you guys to make one. What are the 5 things that if you did them every single day, without fail, it would push your business forward? And then my to-do list is something totally separate. That's like the little things that change, we gotta get this done, we gotta pick up this, go here, do that. And this honestly was the biggest, I doubled my business I went from basically $500,000 to $1 million in retail sales a month when I started the daily method of operation. Because what I found is that I was on a subconscious level avoiding the things that are fun. And has anyone read the book Eat Your Frog?
Yeah.
Or the concept? Yes. So here's what we all do, or at least I do. You kind of cherry pick what you want to do that day, and you end up picking the things that probably actually have the least impact on your success. So I was like, okay, I've got to get way more disciplined. So I asked myself, what are the things? I broke it into 4 categories. And if I do these things every single day, and in that next calendar quarter, I literally doubled my business. So anyway, worked for me. And some of you might be doing the same thing on a subconscious level. You are avoiding the things that will actually generate the most success for you. Because they're not sexy, they're the boring things, they're the not fun things. Whether it be a cold call or customer service or just whatever, checking in on this or that, those are the things sometimes we don't want to do. We want to go for like the fun, flashy things. So, especially the internet is such a time suck. Facebook, LinkedIn. I will have people that, they'll spend an hour and a half on LinkedIn or on Facebook, networking and things like that. And I say, okay, yes, that's important, but that is at the bottom of the TMO. Like, did you actually do anything concrete to move your business forward? So, anyway, hope that's helpful. Little tip for you. That's it. Oh, you got a question?
Well, the one thing you said about podcasts, I've been doing books on tape. Because there was a guy that was a sales trainer that told me that if you go through like one book every 2 weeks, you will get a college education level at the intelligence. And I put those on, and I'm like, so I'll have them on for 30 minutes a day, or when I'm driving, and just random stuff like. So I kind of think that podcasts. There's
You're
so many.
basically doing the same thing.
Yes.
You're doing the same thing, and what you're doing is you're putting positive things into your mind. Whether it be a book, educating yourself, or whether it be a Mel Robbins podcast, or just whatever it is that you like. I think that is absolutely critical. Why listen to the radio? Why have the news on in the background? I know people that they have like the news on in the background, which is like the most depressing thing on the planet Earth. Why would you listen to the news for 25 minutes before you go to work? That's got to be the worst thing that you can listen to. Turn it off. Put on something positive. So, okay, I am over my time. Thank you guys very much.